Wild Man Warehouse Catch and Cook right here.
Baby brush hog June bug. The only bait you need to catch fish in any pond in Louisiana. And I'll prove it to you. Today is Wild Man Warehouse Catch and Cook. Louisiana pond hopping. Alright. This worm is easy to fish. Or this brush hog I should say. Sink your hook about a 1/4 inch into the head of the brush hog. Run it up to the eye of the hook, and you want it to cover the eye of the hook in the knot. And then kind of figure out where it's gonna need to come out so it doesn't bend the worm. Stick it through there. I like to run it, some people run it weedless inside the hog. I hang the hook and lay it on the back. I get more hookups like this. You get more hangups too. But I consistently catch more fish like this than burying that hook in that worm. And you don't have to set the hook as hard, which, you know, he likes to break their jaw. But it's not really necessary. I usually cast it and wait for about 10 seconds because when that brush hog hits the water, those fish are going to come see what made that splash. And I want to give the fish in the 5 foot or 8 foot radius a chance to find it. And then I kind of just bounce it and then pull it slow along the bottom. It's going to cause those these little tails to swim for you. That's where your action is right there, those two little guys. Get in there and get him. I don't want to rip my foot off. Oh, like a marlin, guy. Just reach over the weeds, find your line. Can't muscle him. You can't muscle him. Gotta be gentle. Alright, I'm gonna have to walk down my road. I'll weigh it out there. Gotta grab him in the face. What? Old pond bass. Hey. Man, I didn't bring any pliers. He'd way down in there. Look here. Wild Man Warehouse Catch and Cook right here. Cow pond fishing. Man, he's buried in there. Give me that. I'm gonna have to cut my line. He got me so wrapped.
Hold him up sideways.
We gonna keep this pig?
Mm-hmm. Hold him up sideways.
Tallest fish in that. What's it called? Gary Yamamoto trick worm. What color is it? Baby bass? Weightless? Hooked in the center? He likes that Gary Yamamoto. You see it real quick? Okay. Not hooked trick worm style, just regular style. Missed him.
There he is.
Uh-oh. Little runt.
Little mini. Little mini.
There he is.
Ooh, he's got some weight. Oh! Old jawbreaker T.
I can set my drag even harder.
I like to skip them to the bank when I set the hook.
You got it.
Whoop. Look at them. They're all chilling out in the middle. Oh yeah, nice one.
Here he is. Hey. June bug red.
Get in the water, don't mess around. There's a ledge. Here's a bite. You're gonna have to hold my rod. I'm gonna go in there because he's getting me wrapped up.
No, don't muscle him. Don't muscle him. Where's he?
I see where he is.
Huh?
Look.
What?
Grab his mouth.
Look at that pig. Oh. Hey, that ain't bad. That ain't bad for old cow pond. Hey, look at that. That's a June bug. Baby brush hog. Man, he's pretty. You want to keep him or let him go? I'm just going to fillet these fish using this little portable electric Rapala fillet knife that I've got. I'm not going to film it because you've all filleted fish before.
You didn't cut that big one yet.
No, I didn't. That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna cut the big one, and then I'm gonna cut. Can you open that little Ziploc bag for me, Trip?
What Ziploc?
That little Ziploc that I've laying underneath the pan, right there. Will you open it for me?
Oh.
So I can put these.
You gotta get that one.
One over there. Will you bring it over here and put it in the pile? Hey, Trip, do you like eating fish?
No.
Why not?
That's why they're gross.
Oh, they're gross. But they taste so good when you put them in butter and you fry them up really good and yummy. And put your lemon on them, then they're pretty good. Hey, get out of there, Finn. Get out of there.
Get out of there.
Don't be touching all that. Look here, Dad's gonna clean these fish. I want to watch. Here we go. For the brim, we're scaling them on both sides with a spoon, and then we're gonna cut the heads off, and then we just pull the guts out right through this hole, this left, whenever you cut the head off. That's all there is to that. And these are great whole fried with the skin on.
I don't want to hold
Trip, what'd you tell me? Is this the baddest fish around?
a fish. I don't want to hold it.
Come stand next to it. I want to show how big it is. Oh, it's so big, Finny. Don't touch it. It's gonna be all gross. All gross. Big old fillets on that one. So here's our bag of fish. After I got done filleting it, I scaled the brim, filleted the bass, threw it in a Ziploc, and I grabbed some boneless, skinless chicken thighs to kind of add to it. So I'm gonna make it like, basically make an appetizer. We've got a big group of people down in Gulf Shores with us. And we had to basically pack everything up and run to Gulf Shores the day after we went fishing. So I threw it in a bag, brought some thighs with it, and we're gonna fry this up as an appetizer this evening. Here's our fish fillets right here. Got some nice fillets off that big one we caught, and we've got plenty of smaller fillets from all the little ones we caught. Piles of them. Got the brim here. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm drying the fillets. So what you don't want to do is try to put mustard or bone right there. Let me get that out of there. You don't want to put mustard or egg batter or anything on these fish when they're still covered in water, because they're just not going to soak that batter up. If they're a little bit dry, they'll be quicker to just absorb the moisture from the batter, like from the whatever you use to soak them in before you throw them in the mustard. So the first thing I'll do with both the fish and the chicken is just to dry them out. Dry them out real good. And then I'll take the same Ziplocs that they were stored in. I'm going to fill those up with mustard, and I'm going to let them sit there for 30 minutes or 15 minutes while I get everything else ready. But mainly I just want to get all that just excess water out of these fillets, because it's more than you would think would accumulate just from sitting in the water and kind of dehydrating themselves naturally. So dry the fish off and prepare them for the cook. Another tip that I give is I cut the fillets right here, and then I'll cut them down to the center like this to make the fillets thinner. Like this is a big piece of bass. I'll cut this thing all the way down through the center and slice it up in small pieces. That way it cooks with the rest of the fish evenly, and it's going to be crispier with thinner fillets. And you know it's going to cook all the way through. Also, when you clean these fillets up, you want to get all the bones out. You want to make sure that you get any kind of weird looking pieces out of here. Just so, your friends that are going to eat with you have a real clean fillet to eat. You don't want them to have a bad experience, because a lot of times, if you're cooking fish for somebody like this, it might be their first time to eat fish, from, wild fish cooked, not from a restaurant. So you want it to be a good experience. Little bones might not bother you, but for somebody new, it might bother them. What I'm gonna do is take my Progresso Italian breadcrumbs and my Tonus Sachares original Creole seasoning, and I'm going to help this out. We live in South Louisiana, so we're gonna help it out a lot. I call it good. See my fish, my chicken, my boy. What you got there? That's water? It's more like protein, huh? Protein. So then I'm just gonna shake this up. I paint the top of it red. So a lot of times I'll put it in a bowl and shake it up. But I can see some orange sprinkled around in there. So I know I've got a little bit of flavor in there. I'm gonna take that, pour a little bit in here, pour a little bit in here, shake it up, back, try to coat everything smoothly, and then throw it in some olive oil, 350 degrees, and let it cook until it's brown on one side, and flip it over, and cook it till it's brown on the other side, and sprinkle some Parmesan, some shredded Parmesan cheese on it.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking it out, and then put it in the breadcrumbs, get it all nice and ready. We got the grease hot over there. It might not be hot enough. You know how you can tell your grease isn't hot enough? Is whenever you see the batter starts to flake off like that, that means the grease wasn't hot enough to like get it bonded to the fish as soon as you threw it in. Like as soon as you throw the fish in, it should like kind of scald everything together to where it's like one piece. So if that starts happening, you just turn it up to where it's hotter. So we're doing what we can. We're at the beach, having a good time. It looks really good. And the great thing about it is when you're done, you can take the Parmesan cheese and anything that's naked that missed some batter, you just cover that with Parmesan cheese, which is even better. And cut. Channel. And here's your brim. Same thing. Fry them on both sides. Put some Parmesan on them when they get pretty close to done. Let it melt. Dress it up. Yeah. So this is the honest opinion. It fits great in your beard.
I want to say what I really want to say.
Thumbs up.
You gotta give it a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
Two thumbs up.
And that was one of the first plates too, so they just get better from here. Okay, this is the better plate. See, it's more crispy. When it's brown, it's crispy. That's how you want it.
So
and you want
good.
your girl in a leopard outfit. That's the best kind of outfit to have them in right there.
Yeah, there we go.
The leopard outfit. That means
So good.
they're feral. All right. So the only bait you need in Louisiana to catch bass or bream is Zoom Baby Brush Hog June Bug, and this is actually June Bug Red, which there's just a slight difference in the colors. One's got a little red in it. So a lot of times when you're fishing, they will pull these little tails off, because that's where your action's at. And a lot of times if you're getting into some brim beds or some smaller bass, these tails will be kicking in the back and they'll be biting and pulling on these, and you'll set the hook and they'll be pulling these off. So if you see that to start happening, what you want to do is you take this and you peel it back, you peel these little fins back like this, and you have got a jig built right into this Zoom. And so you take that, and a lot of times as you fish these, and you set the hook and you miss and whatnot, you're going to tear the head of this up. So as you tear the head of this worm up, instead of throwing the whole worm away, if these are still intact, you rip this out and you take this little thing and you throw it back in your bag. And what that's going to do is you'll have a box of jigs in your bag too, and you'll take. And if you're in a brim bed, if you're trying to catch some smaller bass or something, you can't get the hook in their mouth, then you'll take this, and if you grab it far enough back, you can run this jig right up on this this part of that worm tail, and you know, and then you can, you know, whatever, you know, dress it up however you want to or whatever. But that will fish just like a jig, and they'll hit that by itself, and call that the jig. But we've caught a lot of little small bass, you know, in brim and white perch with just this tail here. So that's my tip. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and we'll try to keep coming out with some of these videos.